Modern day mid-size pickup trucks are getting more boxy and more elegant interior, off-roading capabilities. Today, Daniel has given us the 2022 Nissan Frontier Pro-4 Crew Cab in your black exterior here at Moss Nissan in Newport Richey. All new redesigned. We've been waiting since 2005. More boxy, off-roading styling is what's going to connect this vehicle to go against the rivals like your Toyota Tacoma, which had a slight refresh in 2020, and the Ford Ranger that just came back to the North American market in 2019. All new interior. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rods, and we're going to go over all the specs and details, starting now. Redesigned Nissan Frontier is beefier, and that beefiness is going to give you ground clearance at 9.9 inches for the Pro-4x, which is more than the Ford Ranger, more than the Toyota Tacoma. All LED in the fascia, your headlamps, your daylight signature running, your LED fog lamps. I like that. The whole structure, it looks futuristic, and it gives you the aerodynamic purpose. I wish this was an actual vent though. I don't necessarily like that it's a fake vent, but the grille, it's just enough. It's not too enlarged. The Nissan badging with the red, it just gives a nice pop, and the Frontier on top to just polish off the cake more or less. The hood's a little bit longer, but it gives you the purpose and feel that this is still a large vehicle, and it has some aerodynamic lines in the structure. It's going to be more flat, but I like the boxy look. Fully linked box lather frame. Body over frame construction, a width of 74.7 inches and a height of 72 inches. I like that we got the silver down here with the red tow hooks. You have a skid plate, you have another one covering the transfer case and your fuel. So I like the fact that you are covered if you take this off-roading, and the fenders, they're gonna flare out. We got the upgraded 17-inch beadlock style alloy wheels. Front disc reading is 11.1 inches, the rear at 11.3 inches, all four corners ventilated. Pro-4x adds a beefier suspension, Bilston off-road shocks, electronic locking rear differential, shift on the fly, four-wheel drive system with a 2-speed transfer case, electronic brake force distribution, independent double wishbone front suspension with the stabilizer bar, overslung multi-leaf rear suspension. The length has gained almost 5 inches at 210.2 inches. The wheelbase is the same at 126 inches. The vehicle is shorter than the Ford Ranger and the Toyota Tacoma. I like how everything keeps the black aesthetics on the side view mirror caps blacked out as well. I wish the fenders were the same color as the body as well, but I do like that they flare in the front and the rear, and the lines just incorporate the Nissan styling, keeping it box structure with your Frontier running board. So I do like the fact that it is off-roading look from all four corners, which you'll see in the rear, starting with the Pro-4x and your LED taillights. Reworked rear tailgate, the Frontier lettering, I like how it just protrudes nice and large. The Pro-4x, everything stands out, giving a modern twist to this off-roading beast. You have a spare tire tucked underneath here. It's a tow delete kit. You can tow up to 6,720 pounds. Best in class for towing would be the Ford Ranger, then the Toyota Tacoma. This one would be just a hair underneath them. But I do like the fact that you have your 360-degree camera so you can see all four corners. You got your reverse parking sensors, and the way everything is just set up, it's clean, and that's exactly what you're wanting. Something that has been cleaned up and refreshed going inside to your soft open tailgate with a max payload of 1,867 pounds, which is over 140 pounds more than Toyota. You have your cargo Utilitrack channel system, cargo bed length at 73.3 inches, a width of 61.4 inches, between the wheel well housing at 44.4 inches, the depth of 19.4 inches, the total cargo capacity at 43.3 cubic feet. The Nissan Frontier Pro-4x carries over the engine and transmission from 2020. So the nice thing about Nissan is they gave you half of the refresh back then, which is a 3.8 liter V6 producing 310 horsepower and 281 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission, achieving 17 to 22 mpgs, best-in-class horsepower, 40 more horsepower than the Ford Ranger, 32 horsepower more than the Toyota Tacoma, and 16 pound-feet more torque than that Toyota. 0 to 60 at 7.5 seconds, which is faster than the Toyota Tacoma. And the styling that we have received, it's going to have the same structural components that keep the car together, which is unique, and that's what we like, that body over frame structure. Let me know in the comments what you think of the fully redesigned 2022 Nissan Frontier Pro-4x as we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Entering inside the Nissan Frontier Pro-4x at 39.9 inches of headroom, which is more than the Toyota Tacoma, 42.4 inches of legroom, which is more than the Ford, zero gravity seats, black leather appointed front and rear seats, 6-way power adjustment for the driver, 4-way manual for the passenger, which is something I dislike. However, you get the unique Pro-4x badging and seat, which does set a good appearance. They're heated as well. I wish that they had a cooled feature, but you know, we can't get everything in a mid-size truck. We do have a new dashboard layout with the high gloss black polish over all the air vents, a larger storage pocket, which is right on top of that upgraded 9-inch color high resolution display. It's touchscreen with navigation. It's the door-to-door navigation from Nissan. So you have your pinch, you have your swipe. This has your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, Bluetooth connectivity, upgraded 10 speakers, Fender premium audio. Standard is an 8-inch screen. You're going to have dual climate control settings, 2 USB ports. You got a storage area here with some grab handles, which is really cool because when you're going off-roading on the passenger side, you can hold on tight because you're going to be doing that with the Pro-4x. Cup holders, you can easily fit a 44-ounce cup. I do like the gloss black around the gear lever. You got your wireless pad here, soft for both sides on your elbows, opening up to a larger storage with a 12-volt. The only disadvantage is they've taken away the dual glove box. You only get one glove box now on the passenger side, but you want a modern twist for the mid-size pickup truck, so you're going to have to do a give and take. And I do like the setup that all the button functionalities are really close. There's a lot of button structures on the left of the steering wheel, which can make it a little bit harder unless you're at a stop point to actually see what you're pushing, but something you'll get used to as you own the vehicle. Leather wrapped steering wheel. It's heated with the gloss black around all of your buttons. It's multi-function. The gauge cluster has a 7-inch advanced driver assist display, which shows your speedo. It shows your off-roading, your gauges. It shows all your different driving and fuel economy, your radio, your navigation, traffic recognition, driving aid, everything pretty much in so many different settings because this vehicle has a lot of safety features in which has been added on as well. Door panel, you're going to get the harder material on the top, softer in the center, which is exactly what we need for a luxury premium vehicle. One touch up and down for the driver's side, they're dual pane windows for the front. You're going to have some storage. You can fit about 2 or 3 16.9-ounce water bottles, so it's efficient to take this thing off-roading, camping, doing your workload or whatnot. You have a power moonroof. I wish it was a panoramic that went all the way back to the back seats, but let's check them out now. For the back seats, I'm at 38.6 inches of headroom, 33.2 inches of legroom, which is more legroom than the Toyota Tacoma. You're going to have a more 90-degree angle of the seating for the back seat, but it's a mid-size pickup truck, so you're not expecting to have a lot of room. There's no center air vents. You have a USB-C and a USB-A. You have your home plug and storage behind both of the front seats. The front seats are pretty large, so you feel air circulating from here and maybe a little bit from here, but it's not as widely spread out because of how wide the seats are in the front, but you do still feel it in the rear. Elbows are soft on both sides because they're using quality materials. Cup holders, a 32-ounce, you could probably fit a 44-ounce. As for the door panel, it's going to be soft materials in the center area. It's going to be a little bit more hard on the top. Storage, you can easily fit 2 to 3 16.9-ounce water bottles, which is efficient for a family off-roading vehicle in everyday use or even a work truck. Let's see how I look in the center. Sitting into the center, my head is pretty much grazing the headliner. Legs are pretty much against both of the front seats in the position that I'd be sitting. The floor isn't completely flat, so my legs kind of push off into both of my side occupants. As for shoulder space, it's not necessarily too bad because the doors are not too wide and the seats do bolster out a little bit. So you can fit 3 adults my size if you need be. But if you're taking this off-roading because this is the Pro 4X, hold on here and just put 2 in the back so that way you can just relax and enjoy the scene. Taking the fully redesigned 2022 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X out for our test run, the first thing that I've noticed driving to the location and driving it around a little bit is how quiet it is even with bead-lock tires, which is very impressive. You don't really feel that terrain so much, but you do feel a little bit of the bumps, and that's honestly what you're going to want when you get a body on frame type construction. So I do like the fact that it still feels like a truck. The steering wheel is a little bit more weighted as well, so you can feel pretty much the way the road is. So I do like it. It's not artificial. The hood structure, it does make it feel a little bit longer, and it's almost 5 inches longer than the previous generation that went on since forever. We don't really need to get too much in depth. I'm just glad that we finally got a refresh. As for sitting with the zero gravity seats, I always like the zero gravity seats. I think they do an excellent job, and it's the only automotive industry that does it right now. So if you want something to go for a long journey, even with this type of frame, you're not going to hardly feel anything, and it's going to be more relaxed. Now, the cushioning has a good bolster because it has a pretty good area for the buttocks area. And I also like the fact that looking through the windscreen, it's not an overly large windscreen, so it feels a little bit more sporty as well. The A-pillars here on the side are a little bit larger than I would want, so it can kind of sort of make a blind spot if you're doing off-roading, but you got that 360-degree camera to help you with that. 310 horsepower, best in class that is, giving it some gas, and it is nice. I like this engine and transmission setup. You will hear the engine note as you get to around a 3 RPM. Anything underneath that, the sound dampering that Nissan has done is really encased this vehicle excellent. You're gonna start hearing some road noise through the wheel wells, maybe a touch on the windscreen, but for the most part, it is super quiet, so I do like that. The steering wheel does feel nice and bulky, and it feels enlarged, so I know that this vehicle is a large vehicle. As for the width, it doesn't necessarily feel overly wide, even though the hood structure, proportion, layout makes it feel more beefy because you do set up a little bit more, especially the way the door panels are, because they're a little bit lower, so it feels like I'm higher up, even though the ground clearance is just a touch under 10 inches. Giving it a little go here so we can really see how well this thing performs off the line, and whew, it's a pleasant note, honestly. That V6 engine is a nice sound. It's not something that's unpleasant. It's not gonna have dynamics like a sport utility or anything like that. It's, you know, it's a body on frame, so it's gonna roll if you go too crazy. I would say, you know what, just take the car off-roading at slow. You could do rock crawling because you got the bead-lock tires, so you don't have to worry about them separating. As for brakes, I mean, if I need to stop on a dime, I can, and it will actually push you forward a little bit because of that structure. So I do like that. As for the power that you have, it does feel more powerful than the Toyota, and I would say because the Ford Ranger has a little bit more pound-feet of torque, that one's going to kind of throw you back more. Now, there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike. Is anything more than that, I'd be buying this vehicle. The 3 things that I like: we finally got a refresh. The exterior and interior elements, they've actually put some premium luxury materials, even though they're still plastic. Normally I'd complain about it. I can't, because they have a lot more soft textures, which I do like that. The second thing that I like about it, you get an upgraded infotainment screen, and it is huge, 9 inches. I mean, it really does make this dash look even more nice and unique. We're gonna do a U-turn so we can check that turn radius, and we'll get back to the 3 things I like and dislike. As for the turn radius at a stop point, you're gonna be getting about 2 in a part lane, giving it some go at that level. Nicely done. The third thing that I like about the vehicle is the zero gravity seats. I always enjoy Nissan products with them. You really have to just test drive them, go on a long journey, and you can, it's just relaxing. It doesn't make you tired. 3 things that I dislike about the vehicle: it's still on the same platform as the 2021, and that was since 2005. So we really have just changed the aesthetics around it. Don't get me wrong, it's nice aesthetics and it has improved. The second thing that I dislike is the storage in the back seats. It's very tight, but it's tight on all 3 trucks if we're doing any comparison, realistically speaking. This is a mid-size pickup truck, so I just wish, because it's a redesign, that they would have maybe extended the wheelbase a little bit so we could have had a little bit more functionality for the back seats. The third thing that I dislike is the fact that you have to pay for all of your safety type features, in which other vehicles like Toyota, they basically give it to you at the price. Comparing it to the other two trucks, Toyota and Ford, this one will definitely be the most smooth and quiet. I think they did an excellent job, just the way they've restructured everything, putting more premium materials. It's not gonna be hard throughout the cab. If you're to drive the car on a normal basis, you're gonna be hitting more of a 2 to 3 RPM pretty much all the time, but it's a 9-speed transmission, so it's built for it. You're not gonna have any issues. The nice thing also is if you don't necessarily like the refresh, you can go back to the old model and you get the new engine and transmission. So I like that Nissan did do something that was a little bit abnormal. However, it gives you the best of both worlds, especially when you're looking at a Nissan Frontier. We're going to take this back to Moss Nissan in Newport Richey, go over the reverse camera and wrap this review up. Switching to reverse, you do have full trajectory. It's a 360-degree reverse camera. It does glare a little bit on the gloss black here, but it doesn't actually hurt or affect the visibility, and I like how everything is very large, so it makes it easy. Also, you have your reverse parking sensors in the gauge cluster to make it easier for your reversing. I'd like to thank Daniel here at Moss Nissan in Newport Richey for giving us this 2022 Nissan Frontier Pro-4x for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, click that subscribe button, check out the details, the merchandise, and everything we do here. Hawkeye rocks.